why not, use my procreation ability to create, loyal, devoted, dedicated slaves who are never going to run away, who will always comply and who will always obey and who will never ask questions. Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about the reasons why narcissistic parents' tough love is actually abuse and exploitation, and nowhere close to love. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So narcissistic individuals choose to become parent because they want their own legion of slaves who are there to serve them. Narcissistic individuals don't choose to become parent for altruistic reasons. It's all about getting the service. Others might run away after some time. So why not use my procreation ability to create loyal, devoted, dedicated slaves who are never going to run away, who will always comply and who will always obey and who will never ask question. So with these intentions, narcissistic individuals get into relationship, they get married, and they choose to become parent. Healthy parents decide to become parent because they want to start a family, and that's it. They can afford, they can do the best, and they are ready to do the necessary and required sacrifices. And that's it. Healthy parents don't choose to become parent because they want to return. But with narcissistic parents, they are very calculative. All what they want is return. They will do the bare minimum, and then they are going to keep you reminded, they are going to guilt trip you, they are going to manipulate you, gaslight you, and they do all of these dirty tricks and dirty stuff with you, so that you feel obligated to serve them. You feel that you are indebted to them. You feel as if you owe a lot of things to them. Whereas in reality, it's them who brought you in this world. You didn't come into their dream and tell them, hey mom, please have sex and bring me on this planet. No, we didn't do that. We don't get to choose our parents. It's our parents' decision to bring us in this world. And I really appreciate those parents who are quite open about their financial conditions and their family conditions, and they do the best they can, and then they tell their children, now son, now daughter, you have to manage things by yourself. This is the best I can, this is the best I could provide, and that's it. Now I have to take care of other things. I have to take care of my retirement, and now you guys are free. You guys go ahead and start working and make a life of your own. Healthy parents do that, and I really appreciate that. But with these narcissistic parents, they are not going to get into open and direct communication. They are going to triangulate things, guilt trip you, manipulate you. They are going to bring in their enablers, their flying monkeys to do the talking. So it's never one-on-one open, healthy conversation. It's always via someone or the other, their flying monkeys and enablers. And this is basically to preserve their victimhood. This is basically to preserve their image. They don't want to be exposed and seen as selfish and greedy parents. So they will cook up stories, they will take help of religious scriptures. They are going to say, well, this is in our culture, parents do this and then the kids do this. They are going to make sure that they will keep you reminded of the bare minimum they have done. And they invest in their children, I mean the bare minimum, in hopes of getting a lifetime supply, in hopes of getting a lifetime return. So narcissistic parents are all about I, me, myself. Narcissistic parents really don't care what their kids are going through. They are simply not interested to know their kids' side of story. It's all about them. I have bred you for a purpose and reason, and the sooner you can start giving me all of that, the better for you. Otherwise, I'm going to shame you, guilt trip you. I'm going to throw silent treatment. I'm going to treat you with passive aggression. I'm going to abuse you, torment you. So narcissistic parents are not fit to be parents. They are good as I would say masters, ringleaders. They are not individuals who are good as parent. They are horrible as parent. I think that it's very disrespectful to address narcissistic individuals as parents. Yeah, I know. I mean, they get married, they decide to have children, but the traits, behavior, the way how they treat, groom, and raise the child, that's horrible. That is something that scars the child for the rest of the life. And trust me, I mean, me, after going no contact, I somewhere or the other don't feel whole. I, sometimes, get stuck in that, spiral of rumination. I sometimes, feel guilty. I mean, I have spent quite a lot of time, working on myself. But to tell you, you will not be 100%. I mean, after you go no contact or after you leave the narcissist, you will not be 100%. Somewhere or the other, you are scarred. Yeah, you are damaged. Though we work on ourselves, we heal, we move on, we are not stuck there, we create new memories. But trust me, I mean, when you are raised by narcissistic parents, a lot of things in the childhood really gets messed up. As children, we need safe environment to grow up. We need a secure environment. We need that unconditional love of our parents. We don't need silent treatment. We don't need abandonment. We don't need anything that scares us. Yeah, but do we get such an environment when we are raised by narcissistic parents? The answer is no. We are raised in a very unpredictable environment, and from an early age we are parentified. Yeah, we are pushed into adult roles. Yeah, so narcissistic parents are way more damaging than narcissistic partners, narcissistic spouse. So yes, now coming back to this tough love thing. um, in our society, a lot of these enablers enable the narcissistic individuals, saying, so what if your mother hit you? Well, she loves you, she's preparing you for this tough world, she's preparing you for this bad world, and that's the reason she's hitting you and disciplining you and training you. Yeah, so that you can survive, you can become a survivor. And I sometimes really laugh when I get to hear these things, because this is nowhere discipline, this is pure abuse and exploitation. That innocent, vulnerable individual, that innocent soul needs safety. That innocent soul needs reassurance, love, affection, a secure environment to grow and bloom. But narcissistic parents are not interested to give that. They will give the bare minimum, get your medicals, get your school fees covered, and give you food and shelter, and that's it. And the moment they see that you are slightly grown up, you are able to take responsibilities, you are able to do the chores, they are going to parentify you. Narcissistic parents really don't care how your adult life would be or the kind of challenges you will face in your future relationships. They are not interested, because they bred you for a purpose and reason. Children are like slaves, children are like servants, doormat, emotional toilet. Yeah, children are not family members for narcissistic parents. So now, coming to the first reason why narcissistic parents tough love is not love but pure abuse and exploitation. The first reason is, in narcissistic families, manipulation is often disguised as love. Yeah, so narcissistic parents are going to manipulate you, exploit you, and tell you, well, I'm your mother, I'm doing it for your greater good. I'm your father, I can never harm you. All this is for your greater good, all this is for your future, all this is for your safety. Yeah, so they manipulate you, they exploit you under the guise of love, care, and concern. So they get to control you, they get to abuse you, treat you, however they want. And the only thing they have, to tell you is that all of it was for your greater good. I punished you, I hit you, I sweared at you, I criticized you, I mistreated you. It was for your greater good, so that you can become a better person and you can survive in this bad world. Yeah, narcissistic parents are very good in projecting themselves as your only saviors. Yeah, I mean, world is a beautiful place. I grew up in narcissistic family, and my narcissistic parents used to, project the entire world as a horrible place where people are eating each other, where people are hitting and killing and abusing and exploiting each other. And with time, I realized that world is a good place. Good people are there. I came across a lot of good people, and I have a lot of healthy connections. And with time, I realized that it's not the world that's a bad place. It's the narcissistic family, my narcissistic parents, who are evil and abusive individuals. So yes, in narcissistic families, narcissistic relationships, manipulation is often disguised as love. I love you, and that's the reason I'm stopping you from doing this. I love you, and that's the reason I'm not getting you this. I love you, and that's the reason I'm hitting you. I love you, and that's the reason I'm not allowing you to meet your auntie, your friend, your this uncle, your that, relative. The other reason why narcissistic parents tough love is actually abuse and exploitation is because, lack of empathy. So narcissistic parents really, don't care, or they are unable to prioritize their children's feelings and needs. They might do the bare minimum, and that's it. They are not going to sit with you and talk things out and ask you how you are feeling about things, what you're going through on the inside. They won't do that. And this is basically an action that is driven by their own desire for power and admiration. Yeah, so they are just not interested to know what you went through, or how you're feeling about things on the inside. Yeah, it's all about them. So these enablers, narcissistic parents, they often project this lack of empathy, this trait, this behavior as one of the tough loves. Yeah, that your parent is not paying heed to your feelings and emotion. It's because they are concerned about your future. Your parent is not listening to you, or is not concerned about your feelings, because they want to safeguard you. They want to save you from the bad world and bad people that are out there. So lack of empathy is often presented, marketed, and gift wrapped. Yeah, as tough love. So if your parents are not interested to know your feelings and emotion, there is nothing wrong in it. Yeah, that's how society trains us. That's how society gaslights us. So if your parent is not concerned about your feeling and emotion, don't worry. They are concerned about your future. They are concerned about your well-being. Yeah, so that is the reason they are ignoring your feeling and emotion. Yeah, but they want you to care for their feelings and emotion. Yeah, so it's just one way. It's pretty monological. Yeah, it's not two-way. So you have to prioritize their feeling and emotion. You have to care for them. You have to make them feel good. But you shouldn't be expecting anything in return. So yes, this lack of empathy is often presented as tough love in narcissistic families. And it's presented by the narcissistic ecosystem, their enablers, flying monkeys, and fellow narcissists. Yeah, they are going to gaslight you and tell you, well, your father takes care of everything. He pays for your school, he pays for your medicine, food, shelter, everything. So what's wrong? I mean, why do you want him to sit with you and ask you about your feelings and emotions? I mean, if even though if he doesn't, I mean, but he pays for your school fee, your food, your education. So society is expert, I would say, and pro in gaslighting the victims. Yeah, because the entire agenda is not to empower and let the victims heal. So the real agenda and objective is to keep the victims on hook. Yeah, the victims should never run away from narcissistic individuals, in this case narcissistic parents. The victims should be there stuck in that relationship, and they should keep serving the narcissistic individual, in this case the narcissistic parent. So society has a major role to play, when it comes to enabling the narcissistic parents. The other reason why narcissistic parents tough love is, not love, but, pure abuse and exploitation, is because of, this emotional abuse that we get to see in narcissistic families. Narcissistic parents are, big time into extreme criticism, belittling their children, invalidating their children, gaslighting their children, and all of it is basically to crush their self-esteem, confidence, and self-worth. Yeah, this is basically to stunt the child's growth so that the child doesn't grow up to be a healthy, regulated individual. Instead, they want someone who's dysfunctional. They want someone who's dependent on them, and that's it. Because if you are dependent on them, you might not run away. But if you are independent, if you're all by yourself, if you are healthy, if you are regulated, I mean, you can see through. You might begin to distance yourself. You might not play along. You might, simply get over with that toxic, dysfunctional relationship. So narcissistic parents are big time into, emotionally abusing their children, and this is basically, practiced in the guise of, you can say toughening, the children up. Yeah, I'm making you more strong. I'm making you a tough person. Yeah, I'm preparing you for the real world. I mean, how can you prepare a child for this bad world, brutal world, by gaslighting the child? How can you, toughen up a small little individual by constantly belittling them and, criticizing them? How can you, toughen them up? You can only, raise strong, independent individuals if you, let them grow in a healthy way, not by gaslighting, not by confusing them, not by instilling, fear and doubt inside of them, not by minimizing them and invalidating them, not by crushing, their self-esteem, self-worth, and, confidence. No, you don't get to prepare, kids for the, tough world or difficult world by abusing them, emotionally abusing them. No, that's absolutely wrong. But that's how things are presented by the society, enablers, the narcissistic parents ecosystem. Yeah, so there is a lot of this emotional abuse in narcissistic families, and it is often disguised as, the ways to toughen you up, the ways to make you strong for this brutal, bad, evil world. The other reason why narcissistic parents tough love is not love, but pure abuse and exploitation, is because, we get to see a lot of, exploitation in narcissistic families. Narcissistic parents burden their kids with unrealistic expectations. Narcissistic parents are big time into, exploiting their children, for their own personal gain, whether it is financially, emotionally, or socially. So narcissistic parents really don't care, what the kids are going through, or what the kids are, facing or experiencing in the process of, fulfilling their, unrealistic expectations. I mean, the unrealistic expectations of narcissistic parents. So narcissistic parents are all about I, me, myself. They bred you for a purpose and reason, and they will do anything and everything to, keep you on track. Yeah, and that track leads to, the accomplishment. Yeah, the track leads to, the fulfillment of their, unrealistic expectations and goals. The kids are not allowed to have their own aspiration, goal, needs, requirement, wants. No, the kids are simply there to fulfill their parents' unrealistic expectation. The kids are there to, do things for the parents. The kids are trained to betray their own self and, serve the narcissistic parents. So there is a lot of exploitation in narcissistic families by narcissistic parents, whether it is financial exploitation, emotional exploitation, or societal exploitation. And all of it is basically to serve the narcissistic parent. All of it is basically to, make the narcissistic parents feel good, because narcissistic parents, fail to see their kids as separate individuals with their uniqueness. They view their kids as an extension of themselves, something which they have created, and that person, I mean the child, is just there to fulfill my needs and requirements and expectations. That's it. That child is not allowed, to have his or her individual, dreams, expectation, needs, desire, goal, and requirement. Yeah. The other reason why narcissistic parents tough love is actually abuse and exploitation is, because in narcissistic families we get to see a lot of control and manipulation tactics. So narcissistic parents are into, isolating their children from the others, and this is basically to keep the children dependent on them. Yeah, if the kid is getting healthy validation, love, affection elsewhere, the kid might drift away. The kid might, be more, connected or attached to those sources. Yeah, so narcissistic parents are very smart. They don't want the kids, you know uh, to be in contact or to be connected with, external sources of validation, love, and affection. Yeah, so narcissistic parents are big time into gaslighting their children, manipulating their children, and this is basically to isolate their children. That auntie is not good. No, your this friend is bad. No, your cousin is a horrible person. No, your daddy doesn't love you. The only person who loves you is me. No, your sisters are all horrible individuals. Your brother doesn't love you. They are going to, make sure that they isolate you and keep you dependent on them. Narcissistic parents are going to take help of instilling fear. They are going to, take help of intimidation. And, all of this is basically to keep you on hook, keep you away from, anyone who is healthy and who can provide you with, healthy validation, love, and affection. Yeah, so this is basically to isolate you and keep you dependent on them. The other reason why the narcissistic parents tough love is not love but pure abuse and exploitation is because of conditional love. So narcissistic parents are big time into, conditional love. Till the time you do things their way, they are going to love you. The moment they see you are trying to do things your way or you're not listening to them, they are going to withhold love and affection. Yeah, so it's very conditional. So till the time you are a nice puppet, you are a nice dog, you are a nice doormat, you are a nice slave, you will get that love, affection, I mean crumbs. As kids, we really are unable to differentiate between crumbs and love. We often misunderstand crumbs for love. So narcissistic parents are into breadcrumbing, and the moment they see that you are unable to give them what they want out of you, or the moment they see that you are trying to go off hook, you are trying to become independent, or you are not doing things their way, they are going to withhold love and affection. So their love is till the time you are 100% devoted, dedicated, loyal, and there 24/7 in their service. The moment you are unable to give them what they want out of you, that's the time you're going to see them withholding love and affection. All that love and affection will vanish in thin air. Yeah, so love is very conditional. So this tough love thing, it's basically abuse and exploitation guised as tough love. Yeah, so narcissistic parents are into abusing and exploiting their children. They are not into loving their children. Healthy parents love their children. Healthy parents love their children when the kids do mistake. Healthy parents, yeah, do get angry. Healthy parents do teach a lot of good things to their children. Healthy parents do punish the children, but it's not like hanging the child upside down and thrashing the child. Yeah, healthy parents talk things out. Healthy parents teach their kids, if they get into some unlawful activity, you will have to face the consequences. Healthy parents are not into thrashing, beating, swearing, and abusing their kids, and training them for this difficult world. Healthy parents talk things out. Healthy parents are into punishing, but that punishing is not abuse and exploitation. That punishment is to train the kid not to get into things which is wrong, not to hurt others. Yeah, so the punishments are also not such harsh punishments and physically violent or verbally abusive punishments. The punishments are maybe some facial expression. The punishments are not allowing you to, use your phone. The punishments will be, not taking you out on a weekend. The punishments might be, um, telling you, or insisting you to go and apologize to your mother or to whoever, you have misbehaved with. So the punishments are there, but the punishments are not cruel punishments. The punishments are not like, beating you, or swearing at you, or abusing you, or locking you up in a garage, or not giving you food. Those punishments are not there. Punishments might be, uh, you are not allowed to watch TV. You will not get access to your toys. You will not get access to your phone or iPad. And you will not be, taken out, to the, favorite place of yours where you like hanging out in the weekend. So punishments are like these sorts, yeah, not like, those abusive and horrible, sorts, yeah. So healthy parents train and groom their kids in a healthy way. With narcissistic parents, or you can say cluster B parents, things are very abusive, and with time society has, whitewashed, and society, projects their abusive and their, exploitation as tough love, yeah. So if your parent is not, paying heed to your feelings and emotion, um, your parent loves you. You have to, convince yourself that your parent still loves you, even though your parent is not speaking to you, even though if your parent is hitting you, even though if your parent is, abusing you, swearing at you, withholding love and affection, gaslighting you, minimizing you, invalidating you. You have to assume, and you have to convince yourself that your parent loves you. This is tough love. They are unable to express love, yeah. So society has, its own way to, embolden these narcissistic individuals, and gaslight the victims. Victims are never encouraged to leave, such abusive, narcissistic relationships. The other reason why narcissistic parents tough love is not love but pure abuse and exploitation is, this failure to recognize boundaries. So narcissistic parents, often disregard, their children's boundaries and personal autonomy. They may intrude, on their privacy, dismiss their feelings and opinion, and expect, you can say, unquestioning obedience. And these narcissistic parents, might view any resistance as, threat to their control. So do you think, this is anywhere healthy? I don't think so. Yeah, this is pure abuse and this is pure exploitation. So narcissistic parents, really, don't respect boundaries. They don't encourage boundaries. They don't, educate their children about boundaries. The situation is, more or less, like doormat. The kids are like doormat. Nothing in the kids' life is personal. If they try and uphold boundary, if they demand privacy, they are shamed, guilt tripped. The enablers will come in, the gaslighters will come in, the fellow narcissists are going to come in and shame the child, guilt trip the child. So as a result of all that manipulation from all the sides, the kids, are unable to understand what boundaries are, and how boundaries can, help them. All what they know is, obedience, compliance, and that's it, yeah. They have to be 100% devoted, obedient, and compliant to their narcissistic parents, and they have to be like an open book, yeah. They cannot hide anything. They cannot, keep things to themselves. They have to tell them anything and everything in their life. If they are not, telling all their, stuffs to their narcissistic parent, that means they are not being loyal, they are not being a good child, yeah. So the narcissistic parent, trains the children to, not uphold boundary or demand any kind of privacy. The childrens are trained to be like open book, yeah. And the narcissistic parents can read and, tear off any pages they don't like, and they get to play with their children's vulnerabilities, and that's it, yeah. It's pretty simple. Children are like slaves. Children are like toys, pets, doormats, yeah. Children are like punch bag, emotional toilet. Children are not treated, like humans in narcissistic families by these narcissistic parents. The other reason why narcissistic parents tough love is not love, but pure abuse and exploitation. And it's because we get to see a lot of physically abusive behavior that is used by narcissistic parents to discipline their child. Yeah, narcissistic parents are going to hit you. They are going to pinch you, thrash you, hit you with the belt. They are going to punch you, they are going to smack you, they are going to do all sorts of things. And the way how society interprets, the way how society gaslights, and the way how narcissistic parents and the society projects this as a process of disciplining the child. Yeah, so if the child is not listening, let me not talk things out, let me thrash him. Yeah, and the child is shit scared. Yeah, so is the child really learning what discipline is? No, the child is simply afraid, the child is scared, and that's it. The child is simply complying because the child doesn't want to be hurt, the child doesn't want to experience all that crap, so the child simply complies. Yeah, so narcissistic parents are big time into physically abusing their children, and all of it happens in the guise of love, care, affection. I'm just disciplining my child. So what if I slapped him? So what if I, you know, uh, hit him? So what if I punched him? So what if I, did this and that? All of it was to train him and become a tough man, a tough boy for this toxic world, for this toxic, environment. He has to be trained and made, into a tough man. She has to be trained so that she can fight everyone, she can survive all by herself. But we know what the actual intentions are. We know with what intention these narcissistic parents engage in such activities. The intention is basically to enslave the child for the rest of their life. The intention is not to make them independent and move on with their life. The intention is basically to cripple the child, stunt their growth, make them emotionally handicapped, and make them dependent on them somewhere or the other. So yes, these were a couple of reasons why narcissistic parents love is not tough love. It is abuse and exploitation packed in this word tough love. Yeah, all that abuse, exploitation is presented in this package called tough love. Yeah, tough love means abuse and exploitation under the guise of care, concern, love. I'm protecting you. I want to safeguard you. I want to make you a tough person for this bad world. So yes, this was it. In case if you would like to add in something, you can always comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.